Hey guys, what's up? I just decided to put a quick video together here. Actually, it's probably gonna be fairly long. I don't know, maybe split it into a couple of parts. However, um, I'm gonna show how to set up the Citizens mod for Bukkit, and then how to use the Quester within that. And I've never done one of these before or anything, so I don't know. You have to tell me how, if this video is helpful or not to you. But let's see. Well, we'll just get started here. I thought I'd put this together because I really like the mod, but their documentation and everything is just horrible. It's not that hard to use the mod if you have good examples and things, but they just don't have them. So I thought I'd try to put some of that together for you guys. Anyway, I'm going to include links to everything I show you here. It'll be down in the description, and depending on what YouTube will let me do, I'm going to see if I can put them up in the little bubble windows, so you can just click them as they're used in this video. But anyway, first of all, you're going to want to go over here to bukkit.org and just download the latest version there that's supported, which in this right now it's 1.8.1. So we'll download that real quick, and I'm just going to save that file. The next thing you're going to want to do is go to Citizens Mod, and I'm going to include a link, of course, and you can just download right here, and hit the download button again, and there it is, downloaded. Now, I'm going to include a link to this. This has, I guess, kind of their updated files or something, but there's a weird error in the Quester jar file right now, and hopefully they'll get this fixed before too long. But it makes it so that when you have multiple objectives, it doesn't take them in order, and it skips some and doesn't require others, and it's just really weird, and it's a pain. So you'll want to download this Quester jar file. Just click it, and it'll download, and I'm going to hit keep. Okay, so that's everything we're going to have to download. So now you're going to come over here and just create a new folder on your desktop. I'm going to call mine test server test with no vowels. Yay. Okay, and you go into that. Now wherever your downloads are at, I don't know where yours are, mine are just in downloads. You're going to want to find your Citizens 1.1.2 here and just extract. Okay, and if you can do that, you don't have to have WinRAR. I have WinRAR. It's free to download and use you can get a nice free trial version or something. It's also worth buying if you play with files a lot. But anyway, open it up. The only thing you're really going to want in here is you need the jar file, and oh wait, go back. Sorry. We need the main Bukkit folder first. Okay. We don't have a server yet. Can't be modding it. Alright, just copy your Bukkit file that you downloaded. Copy it over. Now we're going to have to create a couple files in here real quick. The first one we're going to create is going to be a server. Just call it server for now. Bring it up. And I'm going to include a link to this text here that we're about to use. That's the wrong stuff. There we go. Now this is just a copy of a pretty standard server file. So your server properties. And what I've done here is I've just changed the spawn monsters to false, and I've adjusted the port because I have multiple servers, which actually I have multiple servers running on my computer, and if I use the default port, it gets confused for some reason. I'm not good at networking, so I can't explain it. But I'm just going to set this here to 3. You might not have to mess with it at all. I don't know. Just depends. If you have weird errors, just change that. If it's saying can't bind to port and whatever. So then we're going to save as server dot properties, server.properties, and save this as all files, and then save, and we should have a server.properties file. There we go. So we can just delete the other. Ding. And it might be a little bit different if you're in a different operating system. I've got Windows 7 here, obviously. So, I don't know. You might have to work around a little bit, but it should be pretty close. Let's see. Okay, now we're going to need to create a batch file, because if we just double-click this, it is an executable jar, so it will run, but you're not going to have a console or anything. It'll just be running in the background, and that's kind of useless for what we're trying to do here. So, let's see, we'll bring up, oops, wrong one. Here we go. I don't know why that's scrolled over. So we're going to create a batch file. I'm going to include the text to this and everything. Just new text document again, like before. Just title it run. Bring it up. Copy everything from here over to this new thing here. The only thing you're going to want to know about this really is this right here. If you have a 32-bit operating system, you change that, you just delete that right there. The parentheses, the x86, you know, everything. Because your Java file is actually just going to be under program files. If you have a 64-bit operating system, you're going to have a lot of your program files, including your Java, is going to be under your x86 program files folder. So you just want to delete that if you've got a 32-bit. I've got a 64-bit, so I'm going to leave it there. And then we're just going to have to save as. And we're going to title this run.bat, and then just change the from .text to all files. Save. And then, as you can see, we get the little gears icon. We can just delete the other file because we don't need it anymore. Let's see. And we won't need that up anymore. Okay, so now when we run this, when we run this here, it will run that, and we'll get a console, and this will use our properties file. So that'll be nice. So we're just going to run real quick here, and it's going to generate the world, which will take it a minute or so. Alright, so now we're just going to stop the server. Just type stop in there and enter to stop it. Okay, so as you can see, it generated a whole bunch of stuff. So the only thing we're really concerned with in here is plugins, because that's what we're using. So go back to your downloads, and then find your citizens that we extracted earlier. And then you're just going to want to copy those two files. You need the executable jar, and then it's got its supporting files in there. And we'll have to edit those a little bit. So basically what this thing's going to do is it's going to look for the executable jar that's under the plugins folder. You go, okay, so we need to load citizens, and that's what that does. And the first time we run it, it'll generate a whole bunch of extra files in here. So as you can see, it's pretty empty in here right now. But the only thing we need to edit in here right now is we need to go under types. So I'm in plugins here, I go to citizens, types, and then you see Quester here. We just need to delete that file. Yes. And then we need to go over here, go back to our downloads, and find Quester right there. Just copy it and paste it right in there. Hopefully they'll get this fixed. So like in the next release or so, you shouldn't have to do this step. You can just skip it. But for now, this is very important because your quests won't work if you don't do this. So, alright. So now we're ready to actually run our server. And we should get a whole bunch of, there we go. It's generating all the extra little files and things we need. So now that it's done doing that, we'll just stop the server a second. Okay. Now what we're going to do is go back under plugins and citizens. And you can see there's a couple extra YML files here. And these are basically just config files. The one we're concerned with right now is quests. And if you're actually setting a server up, you'll probably want to edit this one and some of the others, but for now we're just going to deal with this one. And I've got Notepad++. It's a free program. You can get it online. Just download.com and then search for Notepad++ and you'll get it. Or it's a nice program. Anyway, so as you can see, it's empty right now. There's nothing in here. But I've already written a quest, and I'm going to paste it in here, and I'm going to link you guys over to it so you can copy and paste as you need to. And I'm going to explain kind of what's going on. So hopefully this starts making some sense here. Alright, so I've titled this quest Priest, and as you can see, it's a multiple step quest. And we're not working with economy plugins or anything, which it's really easy to adjust this to where it will if you want to use those as well. But there it is. So I've just copied and pasted, and again I'll leave a link to that in the description as well. I'm going to save it there. Okay, basically what we have here is the title of this is Priest. Now, this is a YML file. YML files, they do all of their formatting with spaces. So as you can see, I don't have any tabs anywhere in here. And if I delete one of these spaces between here and here, I'm going to get weird errors. And I'm going to include a link to a YML. I'll just show you that right now. Here, let me just, let me go over there a second. Here is a YML parser. And this thing will check for syntax. So if you have syntax errors or something, as you can see, this doesn't have any syntax errors right now, and it will parse it out and say, okay, this is the way the computer is going to read this, which is pretty useful, you know, if you're trying to figure out how it's looking at things or whatever. But say you left out a space. Oh, now you've got an error. Well, it will show you the line number, you know, line 2, column 4, and it puts a little thing there showing you exactly where it's at. You know, it says it's the T, which it's actually the space right before the T, but it's pretty close. So you can figure it out that way. Really, really useful. One way of knowing that you have a syntax error is oftentimes when you try to reload, which we'll get into a little bit later on, but if you have a syntax error and you try to reload your citizens files, it'll take forever, and then oftentimes you'll just get disconnected from the server or something. And that's a good indicator that you have a syntax error. Usually if you just messed up, you know, you can't use something somewhere, or it's skipping objectives or something, it'll load just fine. And then you know it's more, you just need to rethink out the way you're writing your quest. But anyway, enough of that. Okay, let's see, Priest. So that's the title of the quest. And then texts, this little section here is, I guess it's this section here, is showing your description, and this is what's going to appear when you first talk to the guy. You know, he'll say this, and then he'll give you the option to accept by right-clicking. And then your completion, this is what happens when you complete the quest, or the text that shows up. All three of these are just text. They don't actually do anything. And then acceptance, you know, if you accept the quest, this will show up. Then we have repeats. If it's at -1, that means it can be repeated as many times as you want, you know, infinite number of times. If you put this to 1 through 1,000,000,000, it's just a finite number of times. So that can be useful, you know, if you just want to be able to do a quest once, or for testing, I've just got it at -1. That way we can play with it as much as we want and debug and whatever. Hopefully we won't have to do too much of that. Here we have objectives. Now, under objectives, you've got main objectives. So you can see here we have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 main objectives. Yes, 5 main objectives. And then we have sub-objectives within each objective. And each objective is going to have at least one sub-objective. And I think down here, here we go. This one's got multiple sub-objectives. So the way this is going to read it is the main objectives have to be done sequentially. You can't start by doing the second, or I guess third step, and then go back and do the first and second step. You have to do the first one, second one, third one, so on. But within each one, you can do the sub-objectives in any order you want. So, you know, when you're delivering stuff here, you can deliver these items in whatever order. It doesn't matter. But everything, you know, all of the sub-objectives have to be completed unless they're set as optional before it will move on to the next objective. So then within the sub-objectives, we have the type. So in this case, this is a move type, so you have to go somewhere. And then the location, which that's specific to the type. You know, if you don't have, you know, if your type is, say, deliver, you're not going to have a location. It's only if you're moving to, or maybe, there may be a couple other cases where you use it, but this part here is going to change. So we've got the location, and under location we have X, Y, Z, and world. And you can get those values by being in-game and pressing F3, which I'll show a little later on. And then your world, that's pretty easy to figure out. It's just whatever world file you're in. The default is world. If you rename it in the server.properties, it'll have something different. And I think there are mods that will allow for multiple worlds and things, and you may have to adjust for that, but it's pretty easy to figure out. Okay, amount. Well, up here we have the location, and this specifies a specific block. And the amount is saying any block within 5 blocks of either direction of this block is the area that we're looking for. So if you step within 5 blocks of this block, you're going to trigger it. You know, you'll trigger the move to location. You'll have completed this thing. Now, messages. Whenever you complete a sub-objective, you have a message that pops up, you know, which is optional. You can just leave it blank, or I think you can just completely remove it. I'm not entirely sure on that, but if nothing else, you can just leave it blank. And it's just a confirmation, you know, that you completed this, or maybe it has something, you know, telling you what you should do next. So that's what that is there. And then rewards. This is entirely optional. You don't have to have rewards at the end of every objective, which for this particular, the way I've set this one quest up, I want it to have a reward as soon as you complete this first part. So under the rewards, they're set up kind of like the objectives, except there are no sub-rewards. It's just rewards. So this is the first reward, and it's got a type. And that part's always going to be there. And in this case, it's an item, which you can do money or NPCs or all sorts of things. They actually have all of that on their wiki, which I might as well show right now, I guess. Let's see here. Nope, nope, no. Oh, here we go. Go back out of that to their wiki. Then under their wiki, just go to NPC types. We're dealing with Quester. And their wiki is really, really helpful if you have a YML file to look at. They say that it's supposed to come with like 2 default YML files. I never, it didn't generate them for me. So I don't know if they're going to fix that later on or what, but this was hard to figure out without actually having a YML file to look at, which is why I'm hoping that this, in conjunction with some YML files, will help you guys out. Anyway, reward types. Let's see. You've got command, NPC, rank, quest, permissions, item, health. You guys can't see that down there. Money. And it seemed like there's one other, but I don't see it right now. Probably because I'm just blind. Yeah, well, okay, so you've got those. And under your quest types, These are basically your objective types. You have build, move location, hunter, distance, destroy block, delivery, player combat, collect, and all of these, they give the thing itself, and then they show what little sub things are going to show up under it. Like over here when I did move location, I have location and amount are the two that are going to show up. And you can see that over here where you have move location, and they say uses location and amount. And you know, if you were to do one that was hunt, you have the amount and a string, which would be, you know, it'd be like string and then colon, space, and then you'd use the little half quotes, and within that you could put down like all, you know, everything, or you can put down individual, you know, cow, chicken, sheep, pig, whatever, or zombie or skeleton or whatever you want him to hunt. Let's see, you can do player combat, which you have the amount, so that'd be, you know, the number of players you need to kill, the string, which is which players should be killed, which is set up just kind of like the other, except you use player names, and then see, I guess those are the only two for that one there. Collect, which is the amount of something, and the material ID, sorry, and that's just the data value for whatever items he's wanting. So I'll leave a link probably to this here. If nothing else, you've got the link to the wiki and you can find this. But this is useful. It helps a lot. But anyway, moving along. So after it's, let's see. Okay, we've got the type. So the ID, which I think you can use item ID in here, or data ID or some such thing. I don't know. I just used ID and it works. 339 is a piece of paper, and then the amount is 1. Take is false. Now the amount, this is the amount, of course, you know, just one way or another. Now you can set this to take if you wanted, so you could have a reward for a step that actually takes an item, which can be useful if you know, for some reason you want him to take whatever item from the player or something. You can have him take, and he'll take the same amount up here that in this case is being given, because take is false. So anyway, it says, okay, we've completed this first objective and all of its, you know, all of its sub-objectives. So we're moving on to the second objective here, and the second objective type is delivery. So we have the NPC destination, which is just the NPC's ID that you're looking for, which in the case we're going to be using, we're only going to have 2 NPCs. So the one that's giving the quest is going to be ID 0, and the one that's also going to show up in the quest is going to be ID 1. Now the material ID, since this is a delivery, we need to know what we're delivering, and we're delivering a piece of paper. And I've got the amount set to 0 because I don't want the NPC to actually take the piece of paper, because the amount is, that's the amount he's actually going to take. So you have to have at least one in your hand to hand it to him, and then he won't actually take it, but you'll get the message because you'll have completed the sub-objective. And okay, so you get the little message, and it goes, okay, well, we finished that one, time for the next one. So it's going to start in on our third objective, and the type is delivery, and we're delivering to the same NPC again. And then we've got the material ID, which this time is wheat, and the amount is 12, and he's, you know, you get a message here. And in case you're wondering, the little Y and the G and the Y and the G here, these aren't actually going to show up in game. They're coloring, you know, it's saying that everything after this until you see another one with the same style is going to be yellow. And then, okay, time to change it, green, yellow, green. I'm not sure what all colors you can use. I was just using yellow and green because I saw somebody else using them. Anyway, here we have, I guess we're on 4 now. So it's completed that one, it moves on to 4. And 4's type is delivery. And we are delivering, let's see, oh, okay. Delivery, we're giving away one thing. Or, sorry, this is the NPC we're giving it to. This is the material type. This is a piece of paper. Again, the amount is 1. The message, you get a message here, and then you get rewards. Now in this one we've got multiple rewards for one objective, or one sub-objective. And the multiple rewards, we're getting an ender pearl, and it's 1. It's an item, and it's not being taken. It's being given. We have another item. It's a book. The amount is 1, and it's being given. And we have another one here. It's an item. It's bread, and there are 4 pieces, and it's being given. So once that's all done, it's going to go, okay, time for the last objective here. Objective 5. And this one, again, is a delivery. And we're delivering to an NPC, and the NPC data value there is 0. So this is the one that gave us the quest. The material ID is going to be, let's see, oh, okay, this would be the ender pearl. The amount is 1, and it comes up with a little message. You give the priest the ender pearl. Then you have the second sub-objective in here, and it's a delivery, and you're supposed to give the priest a book, and it says you give the priest the book, and then it says, you know, and then you're supposed to deliver the priest. You're supposed to give him a, let's see, this would be bread, and quantity 4, and you give the priest 4 bread. Okay, then we have rewards down here. Now, the rewards, as you can see, are on the same level as the objectives. You know, the 2 little tags there, which I guess that's probably what you call it, since YML stands for yet another markup language, I think, something like that. Anyway, I've got this one set to 1. It doesn't have to be 1. It could be 0. It's probably actually better. We'll just change that to 0 real quick. And the type here is an item, and the ID is, that's a melon seed, I believe. And the amount, 1, take false. So he actually gives you the melon seed. And then what will happen is the completion piece will show up. That text will be displayed. The priest gives you a melon seed, and you'll finish the quest. So that's a fairly simple quest, but it demonstrates how to use a number of different things just to kind of show what can be done with this. Now, what I'm going to do is show you how, if you want to create another quest within this file, because this is your quests YML, so all of your quests show up in here. All you would do is go down to the bottom here, you'd hit enter, go all the way back to the start, make sure there are no tabs in here, and you just title your new one, you know, new quest, colon. And then you use the same format as before. You know, you would put, you know, your texts, you know, this will all probably be the same up to about there, you know, and then, you know, you would change your description and your completion and acceptance and all that stuff, change that around, and then you would just go through adding in your different steps and everything. And then you could assign this new quest, you know, this quest titled New Quest, to whatever NPC, you know, whatever quester NPC that you wanted. So that's how you add another one on the bottom there. You can also add them on top, doesn't matter what order they're in, doesn't care. So we're going to save that. I just hit Control S, and I'm going to shrink it. And let's see here. Now we're going to go back to our test server, and we're going to run it again. And we shouldn't get any weird errors or anything. Okay. So here it says NPCs loaded, 0 NPCs, but quests loaded here is 1. So it's reading that one quest, it's parsing it properly and everything. So Now we're just going to run Minecraft a moment. Alright. And we're going to log in. And we're going to go multiplayer. Now, to connect to your server, I'm just going to delete this one here because I already have one of mine. Yeah, I really do actually want to delete that. Okay, so you want to just add a server, title it whatever you want. I'm just going to leave mine as Minecraft server. And you're going to need your IP address, and this is your internal IP address since you're just connecting to yourself. So just go hunt down command prompt. Okay, you're going to go to the start menu and then go to the little search bar there and just type in CMD. If you're in Windows Vista, I think you can still search for it there. You might have to search for command prompt. If you're in Windows XP, you just have to hit run and then type in CMD and enter. And if you still can't find it, I think you can get to it by all programs, accessories, and it should be right in there. Anyway, let's see here. I'm just going to type IP config, and this will all come up. Here, a bunch of information. IPv4 address is the only thing here you're really concerned with. Now what you're going to have to do is go back to Minecraft, and whoops, let's get this down here so we can see it. Bring Minecraft back up. Alright, now we're going to want to go to multiplayer, and then add server, and it doesn't matter what you title it up there. The important thing is the IP address, which is 192.168.3.101. It'll change for you. That's just mine. And this is your internal IP address, so other people won't be able to use this and connect to your computer or anything. If you're trying to get, friends to connect to your server or whatever, you'll have to get your external and then do some port forwarding or something. Other people have nice tutorials on how to do that. But anyway, let's see. We're going to want to go back to our server properties, which you can find those in, under test server folder there, and then just server properties right there. We created those early on. And what we're looking for is our server port. Remember how we had to change that? Well, we'll just have to copy that now and paste it in here. After the colon, of course. And then done. Okay. There it is. So now we can connect, and as you can see, I already created an NPC, 2 of them, because I had video editing issues a moment ago. So we'll just delete these a second, pretend they don't exist, and okay, so I should see. Okay. So now, I'm going to change the time of day. Time set 1200 because I don't like the night. And we're going to go and create our first NPC, the priest. So NPC create, and we'll just title him. So the first part, NPC, it's just saying that's the set of commands we're using. Create, we want to create an NPC. And then this part here is just the NPC's name. So this is going to be priest. There we go. And as you can see, he has an ID of 0. So just like in our little YML file there, where the quest giver has an ID of 0. Now we're going to go create Jed over here. So /NPC create Jed. And he has an ID of 1. Now we're going to go back to our priest here, and we're going to toggle him. Now, the /toggle command is used to select the character's, or the NPC's role. Like, we want him to be a quester. You can use that to make him a guard, or trader, or smith, or whatever. And they have a list of those on their website. They're on the wiki. But anyway, let's see, no quests available. I just right-clicked on him. Just make sure we saw him selected. I'm going to type /, and we're going to give him we're going to assign the quest to him. That's what we're going to do. So we're going to go quester, assign, and then the quest name, which was priest. Okay, there we go. So now it says he has one quest, and if we go slash quester quests, yeah, I had that right, quests, it will show which quests are assigned to him, because you can have him have multiple quests if you want, you know, like if you had a rank system going or something, and quests that had to be completed before you could do others, or however. But you can only have one quest on your character at a time. You can't do multiple quests at once. Anyway, so we've assigned the quest to him, and we have created Jed. Oh, that reminds me. Early on, remember how we were doing the locations thing, and I said we were going to have to come back to that? Well, we need to adjust that. So I'm going to go F3 here a moment, and that brings this up with all the lovely information there. We won't need that anymore. And we're going to bring this back up. Okay, now we can still see what's over there. So, what we're going to edit is, see where it says, here we have the X, Y, Z, I'm not sure what the F is, and we also have the world seed, as you can see there, which can be useful if you ever want to recreate your world and use random seed. So, you want to leave the decimal place off, just negative 44, 65, and 153. Now we're placing the reference block here in the center, you know, right next to the quester, and then the amount around it, you basically have a 5 blocks in any direction. So what's going to happen essentially is our first objective here will be completed as soon as the person takes a quest and turns around. And what we're using this first objective for is we're using it so that the player starts out with something after he takes the quest. And you could do this, you know, just turn the amount up by a bit if you wanted your quest giver to move around, you know, if you had paths set up or whatever. I'm not sure if that causes lag of any kind or not. I haven't really experimented with it, but general concept's there. Anyway, let's see, we'll save this and shrink that. Back to game. Ooh, F3 to get rid of all that. Slash. Let's see. Oh, we're gonna have to reload the citizens file. So just type citizens reload like that, and you'll see how it reloaded real fast. If it takes forever, you should probably go take your YML file and throw it in the parser and see if you've got weird errors in there. Let's see. Okay, now we've done that. Let's take the quest. Let's try it out. So right click on him, and right click again. He gives us the paper here and tells us, you know, okay, so the first part of it worked there, because the minute we turned around we got the paper and all this stuff. It tells us what he wants. He wants an elder pearl, a book, and 4 bread. And we're supposed to go talk to Jed for that. So, you right click to use the paper on him. Jed says that he has everything except for the bread, and he needs 12 wheat to get the bread. So you'll note that he didn't actually take the paper, so that part of it worked. It triggered the next objective, but the paper's still here, so we can use it again later for the other delivery piece that I have in there. So we're going to type slash give. Oh yeah. See, I don't think I showed you guys how to OP. You'll need to do that before you can create any of the NPCs or anything. And I think I'll probably put a little bubble up back there so you guys don't get too confused. But you can do it. All you have to do is go into the console here, and you type slash OP, and then your name. Oh, no, not slash. Get rid of slash. OP, and your name. There you go. So now I'm an OP, which I already was because I was playing on the server a minute ago because I didn't realize my mic was off when I was recording. But anyway, so now I'm an OP. Let's see, I can give myself stuff. That's what we're doing. Give, use my, think it was 296 for wheat, 12 of it. There we go. Use the wheat on him. Okay. So now I've used it. He says to come back in a few, and he'll have the bread done. So now we're going to come back and use the paper on him again, and he'll take the paper this time and then give us the elder pearl, the book, and the 4 bread. So when we go back to the priest, we can use these items on him in whatever order we want. It doesn't matter. And then elder pearl. Okay, so then we get our quest completion text there, and we get the little thing popping up saying, hey, you've got watermelon seeds, or you get the watermelon seeds in your pack. So it's a reward. So hopefully this tutorial has been helpful to you. If you have further questions or you want a specific tutorial, just let me know in the comments down below or something. So, see ya.